All right, good evening. Welcome to UPARS Los Angeles. I'm the director for UPARS LA. My name is Steve Murillo. It is June 2019. We have a wonderful speaker with us tonight. His name is Victor Camacho. Victor is a well-known researcher in the Spanish language, and he has a Spanish radio program called Los Desvelados, which means the Unveiled, which airs nationally in the U.S. and Mexico. He's been featured on programs about UFOs on the Discovery Channel, the Travel Channel, the History Channel, and the SyFy Channel. He was born in Mexico, but has been working in the U.S. for the last 31 years. He's the director of the Desvelado Network in Salt Lake City, and he's been doing that for 23 years. So essentially, Victor is the George Norrie of the Spanish-speaking radio, and Desvelados is a very well-known and popular brand now. So congratulations to Victor on that. But he's a researcher, and he's a UFO enthusiast. And tonight he's going to be talking about forbidden archaeology or undiscovered archaeology, stuff that the mainstream would rather you not know about. And he's brought some artifacts actually here that he might let you at least take a close look at, if not touch. But with that, I'd like you guys to give a warm welcome to Victor Camacho.
I really appreciate the invitation. Steve, thank you very much for the invitation here to your group. My English is not so fluid, so you have to try to understand what I'm saying, okay? But I try to speak as clearly as I can. I don't know if you want to sit closer because I will show you some artifacts, and I don't know if you can see it far away. Well, my name is Victor Camacho. I host a radio show for 23 years. At the time, we have the competition with Unveiled, and it was pretty nice. I mean, when the ratings in Los Angeles were Unveiled and Los Desvelados, at that time in 96, 97, 98, 2000. And now I have the opportunity to share some of this information that we have received from Mexico about these amazing artifacts. Maybe some of you have seen those videos in YouTube. Maybe of you have seen those artifacts in some conventions, some meetings. But for sure, I guess we are the only ones that we have been in different places where these artifacts has been found for the last 7 years. So this is a little bit about the 7 years research that we have been down for these artifacts that I will show you. We started all these things in 2012. Oh, first, this is a beautiful picture. The Jupiter's moon, Io, and also last week or today, I mean, we have this wonderful view from the air, from Jupiter. So I don't know if you have seen this planet from here from Los Angeles, but we have Jupiter, the closest time to the Earth. Well, I received a report in 2012 about the strange artifacts that has been found in somewhere in Mexico. They never told me where they found this. 2012 it was the thing about the Mayas, the prophecy, all this stuff. And a friend of mine, Jose Jaramillo, the person that is right there, he gave me a phone call and told me that something spectacular is happening in Mexico, that they had found strange rocks with alien faces, strange figures, glyphs, and I mean, it was pretty amazing when he told me all this in the phone. We were working together a few years ago before that call because we were interested about the Cueva de los Tallos in Ecuador. I know you have heard about the Tallos Cave in Ecuador. And then he asked me if I can send some pictures of the artifacts that has been found in Ecuador, because maybe it's some similar things. So, and also he asked me for $250,000 to keep the research in this place. And he never told me where exactly he was working with these artifacts. I assumed that it was close to the Yucatan or the south part of Mexico because he's a specialist for the Maya culture. So I thought that maybe he was investigating that part south of Mexico. And he never told me where exactly he was discovered, those artifacts. So I told him that I can work with him because it's a lot of money. I don't have that money in hand. And then months later, still 2012, I received a phone call for another person in Mexico that told me that in a town called Ojuelos in Jalisco, in the central part of Mexico, north central part of Mexico, they had found artifacts. And he described these artifacts the same way that Dr. Jaramillo told me a few months ago. So I called Dr. Jaramillo and say, are you working in Jalisco with these rocks? And he said, no, I'm working in another place, but he never mentioned where. And say, well, I received another report from other artifacts similar where you are working on it in Jalisco. And he said, well, I'm not in Jalisco, I'm in another place. So I asked him, there's no problem if I go to Jalisco and check this report? He said, no way, go ahead and try to find more about these artifacts. So I went to Jalisco in Mexico. This is the Jalisco map. This is the state of Jalisco. Guadalajara, I assume you are here, that's city in Mexico, Guadalajara. So Ojuelos should be right here, close to other states. It's a pretty amazing place because it's Guanajuato, Zacatecas, Aguascalientes. It's like 4 states. It's like the 4 corners here in the U.S. These are 5 corners. It's another one. So it's right here in Ojuelos. So we drove to Ojuelos and tried to find out more about this report. We went down there and we find the first person that had found with his father for the last 60 years these artifacts in the hills. So we talked to Juan. Juan is the person right there. At the time, I talked to a TV station in Mexico, and I mentioned all this information, and they were, how you say that, like amazing thing for them, to go there and film it. So they gave me a crew, a van, and everything that I need to go down there and do like a documentary. The documentary that we did with this channel, we have there with my wife. I will show you later that. So we record this first visit to Ojuelos. So we met Juan. Juan showed me some of these artifacts. These findings are really amazing. These pieces, I mean, you don't have to guess anything, It's a face of an alien. I mean, this is too good to be true. This is the first thing that I thought when I saw this artifact. When they told me the first time, I say, well, this is too good to be true. Because you don't have to imagine anything. And so Juan, after, this is pretty quickly what I told you, because I have to spend weeks to get the trust of these people to show me the artifacts. It's not just to go knock the door and, can you show me the artifacts? No, you have to gain the trust of these people. So after Juan told me about this, he showed me some of these artifacts with the alien faces. Also, he told me that there was another person in the town where he's dedicated to find it and sell these artifacts. And I told him, well, you can tell me who it is, so maybe he can take me to the place where he is finding this. So it's where I met another person. Oh, this is the Juan's house with this alien thing. I mean, it's a gray. I mean, you don't have to try to imagine what is that. So he introduced me to Don Manuel. Don Manuel is an old man that he goes to the hills for several days. He dig and find those artifacts and bring back to the town and sell it. So I met Don Manuel, and also you have to gain the trust of these people. They're gonna take you to the place where they find it because it's the way that they're living for these people. So after we met Don Manuel, we convinced him to take us to one of those places where he has been found those artifacts. And he took us to a place that he called the Lost City. This is the Lost City. And he say, well, I told him, well, why is this Lost City? Because it's a lot of ancient buildings and streets and walls there. And he was digging in the caves that is below that city or that ancient archaeological site. So I took the TV crew with me. We have to walk to the hills for about 2 hours and a half with equipment. And we were walking up to the hill. And he used to do that, Don Manuel. You touch his legs like this. It's like a rock, it's no muscle, it's just rock. Because he is in the hills all the time. So he was walking pretty fast, and we can keep, that you got. So we have to stop several times, and he was like, hurry, because it's getting dark later, etc. So we were walking for a few hours. Don Manuel is on the top, right there, until we arrived to the top of the hill. And we can see walls, rods, remains of this ancient site. You can see right there the walls, the construction, and this is the rods over here, the paths. And then there is more walls over here. So he was showing me where he was digging in this place, and it really, amazing, because it's not any known culture in that part of Mexico. Most of the archaeological sites are in the south. So we are talking about central north of Mexico. But in that exactly place is no any ancient civilization that the archaeologists know that lived there or built that in the past. That is a cave. It's a lot of caves there. It's a cave that was covered with all those rocks. So we have to spend a few days there to try to take all the rocks out of the cave. But he told me that he had found those artifacts in some caves that maybe those caves, they used these caves for burial, you say, when some people die. Yeah, they used to the case to put the bodies there with the ceremonic stuff that they put together with the body. So it was amazing. We were in several caves. There's a lot of snakes over there too, so we have to be careful with the snakes. We were inside of one of those caves in this city, and also it's a lot of spiders and alacran, I don't know how to say alacran in English, the scorpions, and all this funny stuff in the hills. So it was pretty nice. It's really a great experience to go there and check out, where this person were digging this and finding these artifacts over there in Mexico. What I need at that time was a drone, because I guess it will be very helpful, to have the drone and have the view of this city, because it's everything covered with vegetation. So it's pretty hard to find out how exactly this place was, Anyway, Don Manuel, after we finished the visit to the lost city, he told me that he has a pretty good customer, that he has bought some artifacts, hundreds of these artifacts. So he's a pretty good customer of him. He's a collectionist. And he told me he lives in another city. Let me call him, and maybe he can show you his collection, because he has a lot of the artifacts that I have found. So we went to Aguascalientes. It's another city, and I have the map there. So we went to Aguascalientes to meet this collectionist. And I asked him if he can show me his collection of these artifacts. Some people think that these artifacts is just 10 or 12 rocks that people have found them. But no, it's thousands of these artifacts. So he showed me his collection. He has to use 9 tables, like tables that we have back there. He used 9 tables full with these stone artifacts. You can see, I mean, this is one side of the room. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that is being found in Mexico, and they still finding these artifacts. I mean, they haven't stopped doing this. So he showed me his collection, and he said, well, you have all day long, you want to take pictures and video, and whatever you want to do with these rocks. So I told to the TV crew that I have, I told him, well, you have to take video of the artifacts, I will take picture of the artifacts, and they told me, well, we need to classify these artifacts. But we don't have any manual to say how to classify ancient alien artifacts, you know? So I said, well, I haven't seen these artifacts. I mean, it's the second time that I've seen this kind of thing. How I can classify these artifacts? So I have to give a look very quickly to the artifacts that they have on the table, and I have to classify. But anyway, this is the TV crew taking the video. This is 1,200 pieces. So we start like at 9 a.m. in the morning. We finish, I guess, until 7 or 8 p.m. because we have to take picture. Maybe this is the first and the only time that we have seen this artifact, so we have to take the chance to video and picture each of this rock. And each rock has engravings all around the rock. It's not just one part of the rock. It has in the back, in the front, side, back, top. So we have to take like 6 pictures for each rock. So it was a lot. I mean, the battery just died like a couple of hours later, you know. And then we have to take the picture and the video. So we really enjoy to have the opportunity to investigate, to have the chance to see this collection. There's a lot of people that has this kind of collection in Mexico. So we're losing the information that is in these rocks. Anyway, so this is one kind of the image that those rocks has. These rocks contain engravings, possible written in alien language, and tell the history of beings that maybe live in this planet and left their knowledge in a stone library that could change the history of mankind as we know it. This is the real ancient alien. This is the real thing. Because today, you will have the chance to see it. Most of the time when we go to the conventions and conference, we just hear. But now you can see, you will see these things. So let me go. I have to do the classification for these rocks. So this is my classification when I saw the collection of this person. I classify that way, okay? This is my way, because there's no other person has been done a classification of this. So the first thing that I noticed with these artifacts It's a lot of beings with wings. I will show you that later. And also, some of these artifacts has the engravings with offering of infants or babies. Also, this artifact has the engravings of different types of beings, different kind of aliens. And also has a lot of writing on it. And also has the mixture of alien thing with pre-Hispanic glyphs. So it is what I noticed at the moment, and that's the way that I classify these rocks. So the first classification being with wings. This is really amazing because you can see alien face with wings, like an angel alien. I don't know, you have here that conference. Well, I have a conference that says the ancient angels are the aliens of now, or the present, you know. So maybe this is happening. I mean, maybe the people see these beings with wings, and they thought that maybe they came from celestial thing, and maybe it's not celestial, it's extraterrestrial. But anyway, we see the angel here, or the alien with wings, offering a baby, alien baby, to another person that came out from a spaceship. So you will see a lot of this image in these rocks. We see another one over here, baby in the hands. We see this spectacular, like the pre-Hispanic, the Aztec thing they use. Alien eyes with the baby over here. And this is another kind of being. A slender body, has a baby in his hands, and also has the wings. And this is like a portal, something like a portal or something like that. We see more of these beings with wings. This one is come out from the spaceship and has the baby over here. This one almost is the same. The spaceship, he's come out from the spaceship with another baby, but the rock just, the engraving is right here. Okay, the second classification that I did is offering of infants. We can see over here pretty good. I mean, there's a baby over here that he's offering to the spaceship. And also you can see here, this is very interesting. You will see this planet in the rocks, that this planet is like a cracking because something hit it, like a big asteroid or comet. So maybe his planet was destroyed after that asteroid hit the planet. So they have to leave that planet and move to another place. Another place, it was here. So we see another one over here. It is a baby over here, and he is offering to the spaceship. This is a great question. Why they offer the babies to the spaceship? I don't have any idea. But maybe they have like a hybrid thing, and they need to give those babies to put it on another planet. I don't know. But this is really interesting how they offer those babies to the spaceship. But when they offer the baby to the spaceship, or the person that is in the spaceship, they receive like an orb, energy orb, or like a sphere. After they gave the baby, they gave to the person in Earth this sphere. This is what you will see over here. He's receiving the sphere. He's giving the baby and receiving the sphere. Well, this is the picture that we have seen before. He's offering this baby to like a genie thing. And this one, I believe, is a map. Maybe it's a map of a building that maybe we see in the top, like taking the picture with a drone. Maybe this is a map or a building, something. Oh, we can see pretty well where I told you here. So they received the baby from the person in the air. They received the baby, and this person that he was in the spaceship, he gave the baby to another spaceship, and we see again this planet being destroyed. And then when they give the baby, here is the baby, they receive this sphere or in exchange from the person in the spaceship. I don't know, I've been looking the picture for hours. I mean, we have thousands of these pictures, and you have to try to form a history, something that makes sense, that what happened with this culture, these civilizations. Okay, the third classification is different type of beings. It's not just one kind of alien in these rocks. There are several aliens or figures of extraterrestrial. So we can see here one wing helmet with a helmet over here. It's like a glass in the front. 2 antennas and a slender body and 4 fingers. If you put attention in that, in the hands, you will see all the time 4 fingers. So this is another one with a helmet. Even the baby looks like it has the helmet too. And they give you this too. They giving this baby again to the spaceship, and the spaceship is given this maybe. And this is the alien writing over here. Anyway, it's really interesting. This is another kind of being. It has a almond-shaped eyes, pointy nose, and slender body. And it looks like this one, but this one, it looks like inside a capsule or in a spaceship. Pretty close to the Pacal thing, you know, in Maya, in Mexico. So he's sitting somewhere. It looks like he has a spacesuit, something like that. And he's breathing from this. The glass is right here from the helmet. Some of them look like a race with almond shape. Long skull like this, the slender body, 4 fingers. This is the alien writing over here. As I told you, I mean, it's too good to be true. What I show you is just the investigation that we have done for 7 years. So you have to make your own decision, your own conclusion to investigate more about this. But it is really, I mean, this is really important. Here we have a female figure. I mean, it's pretty obvious that she's a female. It has almond shapes, eyes, a small mouth, nose, 4 fingers, and also she has a helmet on it. And you see, this is a face on another alien. So all the rocks, all the artifacts has been engraving all around. They don't lose any space to put something there. So this is the same piece, just this is the front, the right, and the left. So you will have the chance to see all these glyphs on it. This is other kind of being, the insect looking. Almond eyes, wings, sharp nose, and slender body. And this one is like feathers, or maybe a reptile with this flaky skin or thick hair. But this one has teeth. So you see, it's different kind of beings. It's not just one, not just grays, for example. Okay, this is another classification that I did, the alien writing. Almost all the artifacts has this writing. We try to, I talked to some friends from China, is no any relation of that. I talked to some friends from Navajo Reservation, is nothing to look like that. I look for the glyphs that had been found in several places on air, is nothing like that. So, if you have any idea, please, we need help with the alien writing. So this is the one character, this alien writing over here. You will see this writing all over these artifacts. This hat has this kind of glyphs. I mean, it's really, really interesting. And how they made this. I mean, it's really amazing when you see this close and you can watch how they cut the rock, they polish this rock. I mean, it's really interesting. Because, I mean, it's a lot of questions about these artifacts. They say, well, in the town they made it, these artifacts. I say, well, I hope to find this person because if he exists, he's really a master of this, you know. But I will talk about that later. So here is more writing over here. This one is really interesting. That one we have it. And it's really important because in the back of this face, it has this. So maybe it's a phrase, because the other pieces has this writing all over the artifact. But this one maybe has an order, writing in order. I don't know, it's right to left or left to right or top to the bottom, but in some way it's a phrase. It said something, you know, but it has the order to writing this. So this is important for us because as soon as we discover what it says, it will make sense, you know, I mean, because it's writing in some way. So this is really important. We have some pictures available if you want to buy a copy of this picture for your records. And it's really, I mean, really, really interesting. I will show you this later. Okay, another classification is pre-Hispanic glyphs. This is a mixture of glyphs that we already know, like Nahuatl or Maya, Olmec glyphs that we know in the pre-Hispanic culture, but is mixed with alien thing. So it's really interesting to see this pre-Hispanic figure. This is a normal person. This is Quetzalcoatl over here. Is the feather, how to say, serpiente emplumada? Feather snake? Feather snake. Okay, this is Quetzalcoatl, and this is the normal pre-Hispanic glyph. This is a goddess, the Soul-tailed, the goddess of purification, and we have in these artifacts the same goddess, but with alien face. And it's really interesting because we have these glyphs. Those glyphs are the normal Nahuatl glyphs, but the goddess is with alien face. Here is another piece. This one is the way that they buried the king. The king in the pre-Hispanic culture was called Tlatoani. So the Tlatoani is like a king. So when the Tlatoani die, they put the body like that. So this is the image how they buried this Tlatoani, the body of this Tlatoani, but with the alien face. So maybe the Tlatoanis, or the family of the Tlatoanis, or the king family, came directly from the alien, or maybe they are the hybrids. That's why they were kings. I mean, it's just an idea. And also this one is the Maya glyph. This is the glyph of the cargador del tiempo. How do you translate that? The meant to carry the time. So this is a Maya glyph with alien face. So that is the problem. When I tried to go to Ojuelos the first time, I asked to some friends that work in the archaeological department in Mexico, called INA. INA is the Mexican Institute of Archaeology. So I told them, and I showed some of those pictures, and I told them, I need your help to go over there and find out if those are real or if those are not real. Tell me why. So I wait for them for like 4 or 5 months. And all the time they give me excuses, you know. We were ready to go to Ojuelos and say, well, you know, I have to go to the dentist. Oh, you know, the other archaeologist is in the hospital. So it's a lot of excuses for 5 months. After I asked him, well, you gonna go with me or not? And he said, you know, we can go down there because we put in a risk our job. We are working in this department for 3 years, and we don't want to lose, you know, the job. Because most of the archaeologists work for the institute, the government. There's no other way that they can live if they are archaeologists. They have to work for the government. So they told me, we can go there. And also those pieces are fake. I say, well, okay, those are fake. Why? And I told him, well, you just watch it. I mean, you see the picture, you see the artifacts. They don't want to even see these artifacts. Even here in the U.S., I tried to take some to the university where I study in Utah. They don't want to see these artifacts. But anyway, this is another thing later. So this is the glyphs, the pre-Hispanic glyphs with alien thing. Now, this is something really interesting. In this collection for this person in Mexico, I saw one of this rock. This rock, it was really important for me, for the information that this rock has on it. I just baptized this rock like a Genesis stone, you know. But it's really amazing what you will see right now. This is the Genesis stone. Why? Because we see here the communication between these aliens with the Tlatoani, with the ancient Tlatoani. So maybe this culture in Mexico, they were in some way that nobody had found this civilization before, but they have to do contact in some way in the past. So maybe this is a picture, ancient picture of this meeting between this alien race with the Tlatoani, human Tlatoani. This is a close-up. Just look this. You see here? What is that? Well, it's a ray, you know? The gray is facing the Tlatoani. The Tlatoani, remember, is the king. I know he's the king because this is the throne. So the Tlatoani is talking to the alien because we see the virgula. The virgula, this is the symbol of talk, the virgula. So the Tlatoani is talking to the alien, or the gray, and then the gray points with his left arm to the sky. Okay, he's pointing like that. Maybe the Tlatoani asked to the alien where you came from. So then, right here, we have a spaceship over here with some kind of energy, or maybe they beamed him to the surface of the air, I don't know. Okay, this is a close-up, but you can see pretty well over here, the alien, the Tlatoani. This is a hill over here. This is the throne. For this rock, the archaeologists, they just got crazy when they saw this thing, because they told me, that's impossible that this is real. Well, I know that it's impossible, but it's some percent that is real thing. But it's impossible for them, not just for the alien, because it has 3 different languages in this rock. I will show you what kind of languages it has. Okay, this is a close-up of the top. He's pointing to the sky. The central part, we see the symbols of the feet, those over here, which means the union to the stars, to the air, or the air to the stars, because this means walking. So they were walking to the stars, and also they were walking back to the air. So that means that they were like a communication with them. Maybe we can go there and come back to air. Over here, these eyes means the eyes of heaven. This is an Olmec symbol. This is a Nahuatl, and this is Olmec over here. And then we see the Venus symbol. This is a Maya symbol. So we see here the language, Maya language, Olmec, and Nahuatl. So they told me that it's impossible that a rock has these 3 different languages, because the Olmecs were like a 3,500 years ago, and then the Mayas like a 2,000 years ago, and it was the Aztecs that they spoke Nahuatl. It was like 800 or 900 years ago. So this special piece has 3 different languages, but also has something really interesting. Do you remember where the grace came from? The grace. Yeah. Okay, Zeta Reticuli. Okay. All of you know that? Yeah. Who didn't know that? All right, perfect. Why I ask that? What you see here? 2 stars. Well, this is the symbol of a cave, this Olmec. It shows a binary system. We can recognize this as the Zeta Reticuli from the constellation of Reticulum. So the gray is pointing to the sky, to this 2-star constellation or system. You believe that somebody from a small town close to the hills will know that. Not even some of you that are really interested about this topic. So it's kind of interesting to see that the person that is doing this, first, he needs to know how to do this kind of rocks, how to engrave it. Then, he needs to know astrology. How you say that? Astrología. How you say that, Gladys? Astrología y astronomy. Astrology, astronomy. Ancient languages. ancient cultures, or he needs to know about the ancient civilization because he needs to know about Olmecs, Maya, and Nahuatl. And then he needs to know some kind of knowledge of ufology. Anyway, this is the new picture of Zeta Reticuli. I don't know if you have seen this. This came up like a year and a half ago. This is the picture that we have of this system where the grays came. Right here. This is the two suns over there. This is Zeta Reticuli. This is a close-up. So this is the best picture that we have right now. How they knew that these beings came from Zeta Reticuli and put two suns in the stone. This is one of the many things that we found in these artifacts. I mean, the question that we have. Anyway, so how these people knew that they came from Zeta Reticuli. So this one is the Genesis stone. We don't have this artifact with us. I don't know if it still exists because the collection it can sell this. So this is the good opportunity to you to know these artifacts and this one with this information. But there's so many of them. I mean, it's a lot of them that has very interesting information engraven in these rocks. This one is another one. I colored this the interstellar map or constellation map. Maybe it said where they came from. You see the planet that I told you that it shows all the time, that maybe it was hit with the asteroid, and maybe it showed also that they have to travel close to Saturn because we see the rings on it in the other planet. We believe this in our system. And then we saw another planet over here between our planet and Saturn. Do you remember that there was another planet that was destroying this system? How come? Marduk. Maybe this is Marduk. It was destroyed, but some big asteroids, and that's why they have to move to Earth. Maybe they live before in Marduk, before they arrive to the Earth. I don't know. I mean, I just try to arm a history, something that makes sense. Because when you see this for 9 or 10 hours, I mean, just your head just blows, But with the time, you see, I saw that, and you try to find the pictures, and But it's really, really interesting. So this is a constellation map, possible the interstellar map showing the history of this civilization that might have to leave his planet for some kind of cataclysm event, and they have to move to Earth. So it's really, really interesting. We may think that this civilization coming from the stars were established in different parts of Mexico and left their history, beliefs, ceremonies, and the origin of these artifacts in order to preserve their knowledge and leave a testimony of their passage through this planet. I guess this is the only way that maybe they see to leave this information here before it got lost. I don't know, it's really, really interesting, this thing, the legacy from these people, from the stars, is really important because in somehow it will change maybe the origin of humankind. We need to do a break, but after the break I will show you some of these artifacts and also some of the things that happened to us when we were doing this investigation in Mexico. So you have any question, you can come over before we start again. and also my wife have some items that he brought for you guys. If you are interested, is the way that you can help us. We used to have a small store in Downey for 15 years. So we have to move to Salt Lake City because it's cheaper, because we have to go back and forth from Mexico. So it was pretty expensive to live in an apartment here for 5 months without window use it. So we have to move another town cheaper, and then to do this investigation. But my wife have some stuff over there. You're interested. We're gonna thank you for that. I guess it's 10 minutes, something like that. Well, Steve will tell you when we restart. Thank you. Okay, I have to go fast because it's a lot of, we can go through all this stuff. It's just 7 years of investigation. So I just will show you Ojuelos. This is the only place that I will show in this presentation. Okay, later when we visit the lost city, remember the first place where our guide took us to see the caves and this ancient archaeological site, he gave me a call and say, Victor, I found another place that I call the temple. I say, the temple? Why the temple? And he said, because I found another amazing thing that I want to show you. So he invited me to go to the temple. So the lost city is right here. We have to drive like 6 miles to the temple. Between those points, there are several places where the people are finding. You just believe 6 miles with all this kind of stuff. So we went to the temple. He invited me to go down there, and we took. This is another crew, TV crew. I talked to the TV station where we did the documentary. This one is a documentary about the first thing that I show you. So I took another crew with me, and we went to the temple. So we have to drive for, there's no any roads to get there or streets. So, and then we have to carry the equipment again and walk a little bit and a little bit. And a little bit. So it's really interesting because you know these places. It's not the same when you just see the pictures or the videos on YouTube and you go there and see the place for yourself, So the temple was in the top of that hill. So we need to walk a little bit again until we get to the bottom of this hill. As you see, we have to go through the cactus or the nopaleras and the vegetation there. I have some reminders of those visits over here, right here. For 5 years, I have this over here. So you have to be careful to go there. Go through the vegetation. So, these people go there and stay days there, digging. So, Don Manuelo, my guide, he told me, well, in the top of the hill, there is a wall over there. I don't know if you can see the wall in the top. I guess you can see it. But let me zoom the picture. Right here. This is the wall. So we had to walk to get to the top of the hill. So we're walking a little bit more, a little bit to the cactus, and also has the fruit. I don't know if you have eaten the tunas. I don't know if you're Hispanics or Mexicans, but the tunas are delicious. After you got the stomach sickness, but anyway. And then we find something spectacular in the hill. We found this stone stairway in the middle of the hill. So Don Manuel showed me one of the sites where he found a burial there. He said, well, get close. I dig over here and I found this amazing engraved, like in a stone box, there. I asked him if he had found body, the bone. He said that as soon as he tried to touch the body, it just disintegrates. So it was really amazing there. So he just showed me this place. This is the top of the hill. As you see, you can't see anything, because there's a lot of vegetation at the top. But the structure of the temple is behind that, below that. And you see there a wall. I am standing in one of the walls. So he said, well, we need equipment to get through the walls and see what is inside of this temple. He just dig around, close to, but we don't know what is inside of this site. And I asked him, well, what is so important that you call this the temple? And he said, I found something amazing there. This is a pectoral, something that you put over here. There is another piece that he found there. And it's a lot of things that I can show you, but this is no time to do it. So I want to show you another place that he took me to another kind of the rocks. He said later, like a year later, he gave me another phone call and say, I have found different kind of stones, the black stones. And I say, well, can you take me to the place where you have found these black stones? He said, yeah, come on, come over, and I will take you there. So I went back to Ojuelos, and he took me to this special place. So we already visited the Lost City, the temple, and the Black Rocks over here. So it's like a 19.2 miles of difference, the distance. Ojuelos is right here. So we are taking these places. So we went to the Black Rock place. We had to walk a little bit to the mountain range. You have to do a lot of exercise. And the last adventure of the investigation that we did, it was not Ojuelos, it was another place. I almost died there. They never told me where exactly we have to go, but this is another part of the conference. So we had to walk to the Sierra, or the mountain range, to find this special place where he showed me where he had found the black stones, or black artifacts. So he showed me that, I don't know, I guess you have seen this kind of thing. It's called tacit boulder. Mostly they don't have any specific idea how they use it, Maybe they use it for grains or seeds, or maybe for religion ceremonies. They say that maybe they made like animal sacrifices in the top, and the blood were in the holes, or for astronomical observatories. So we are not sure how they use these tacit boulders, but they used it like 12 or 10,000 years ago. So we are talking a long time of line. But there, he showed me the black artifacts. This is the black artifacts with inlays of another kind of rock. But this is really amazing. This is a calendar with alien face, and all the pieces engraved, or with alien things, engravings or language. And this part is in the back of this one. This is the front, this is the back. Always they ask me what kind of stone is that, the black one. I don't have any idea. I tried to investigate, but what I found is something interesting. This is another piece that I don't have it. It costs a lot of money. Those are not free. You have to buy it. Because these people live finding these artifacts and sell whatever, have the money to pay. That one, it was pretty sad that I couldn't rescue, but anyway. This is another amazing piece. This is a spaceship, or a UFO. This one is pretty important because it has numbers. Some of them I can identify because are Maya numbers, but it changed later. As soon as I get that, the 10 number, the number 10, after that it changed. But it has the Maya numbers. So this is the black artifacts. I did some research about this kind of rock, and maybe it's azabache in Spanish. It's called jet. This type of rock is before it's getting cold, and it's a gemstone. It's not a mineral. It has an organic origin, but it's kind of heavy, but it's soft. I knew because I received this piece broken, so I saw it, how the rock it was. So it's pretty soft, but it's heavy. When you weigh it, it's heavy. So these characteristics are for the azabache or the jet stone. So maybe it's that kind of stone. And this is an example of the jet. And those are the pieces, the black rock. So maybe it's azabache, I don't know. It's an idea about that. Some of you asked me about if we did some kind of dating, carbon dating for the artifacts. I don't know, you're interested to know the carbon dating? Okay, well, all right. We did some analysis of these artifacts. One of these we did, as you know, these artifacts, the rock can be carbon dating, because it's rock. You need something, how you say that? Organic. So what we did is just take the glue that they used to put this inlay together. So the glue is organic. So we have to take this eye or the inlay out and put some of this material that they used to glue to do the carbonating. But before, we did in Salt Lake City in a lab. We analyzed one of this one over here. Somebody asked me if how big are those artifacts? Well, the small one that we have is this one. That is that one. And we use that one. Well, let me tell you how they found this thing. You really have, it's really amazing. Don Manuel was in the hills, and he was digging and digging and digging, and then he saw some ants walking close to him. So he looked to the ants, and the ants, they took leaves and small branches to the ant hill. So he was looking for something that it wasn't a leaf, it wasn't a branch, it wasn't nothing normal. So he looked closely to the ants, and they will carry some of those artifacts. So he just followed the ants to the ant hill, and he started digging. But the ants over there are really dangerous. You have to ask my wife what happened to her with the ants. But anyway, so this one came from the ants. That's the way that he found it. Isn't it amazing? The way that he found it? Anyway, so in the Salt Lake City lab, This is the assume for this piece that I show you over here. You see, I mean, it is 4 fingers. It has a bud over here. It has a hole, the almond-shaped eye. It has lips. I don't know how they made it. Look, this is the front. You see the nose, the mouth, 2 legs. You have a tummy, a panza, the long arms. So it's really, really amazing how they made. So we use, we take this to the lab in Salt Lake City. They use yeah, that one. They use that. So they put into the machine. They took those pictures. As you see, how they did this, they used something to scratch the little rock. It's no laser. It's something metallic. It's a tool. These are the fingers. So they scratch the rock. It's no laser. So how they can do that with a small thing without broken that thing? That's why I told you, I mean, it's too good to be true, but it's a lot of questions. It's a lot of questions how they do that. I mean, Don Manuel, he can do that. He is all the time in the hills. But in the town, in Ojuelos, is nobody that can do this kind of work. Even I went to Teotihuacan in Mexico, you know, the big archaeological place in Mexico. And they have, I mean, there's a lot of shops around there. They sold, you know, like souvenirs. They make copies. So I asked him if somebody can do that. They say, well, I can charge you like $2,500 to do something like that, if I can. I say, well, that's a lot of money. But they are not sure to do it. I mean, they just give me a number and to give up, you know, ask for something like that. So those are the pictures for the microscope. And those are the elements: carbon, oxygen, aluminum, silicium, sulfur, chlorine, iron that piece has. And those are the 4 different rocks that you can find in Ojuelos. It's a rhyolite, tufa, granite, and basalt. Those are the 4 different rocks that you can find in Ojuelos that has this kind of elements that I just show you. And also, a friend took this another artifact to the University of Arizona in Tucson to do the carbon dating thing, and they did what I told you. They took the eye off. They just take an example for the glue that they used to glue this piece, and this is the result for the carbon dating thing. It mentioned that this piece has calendar age range, 95%, is between 7,521 years before Christ. So we're talking about 9,500 years ago. 9,500 years ago. The oldest culture, a real civilization, is the Olmecs. It's at 3,500. So we're talking about 6,000 before the Olmecs. But the older artifact that another people date, carbon dating, it was 16,000 years old. So this one is 9,500 old. And this is another piece that they took to the German. They used the thermoluminescence thing. Don't ask me how it works, that thing. So they use this system or analyzing thing, and it dates 3,800 years old. It's close to the Olmecs. It's 300 older than the Olmecs. But this is almost 4,000. So it's not really fake. You are not sure until you find something, you know? Because I've been investigating this for 7 years, but 2 years ago, something really amazing happened, and this is when I get really sure that this is real. This is the real thing. It's not fake. We have found several of these artifacts in 4 different states in Mexico. It's not just Ojuelos. What I just told you is Ojuelos. It's in Jalisco. But we have found artifacts in Michoacán, which is another state. We have found artifacts in Veracruz, that is other state. We have found in Puebla. This is the last report that I received. So we have Jalisco, Michoacán, Veracruz, Puebla. Oh, and my friend Jose Jaramillo, remember the first guy that he gave me the phone call? He was working in San Luis Potosí. San Luis Potosí, it was Ojuelos here. San Luis Potosí is the other state close to the top of the Jalisco. So he was working right here, and I was working right here. So we have San Luis Potosí, Jalisco, Michoacán, Veracruz, and Puebla. 5 different states in Mexico are finding these artifacts with different kind of rocks. In Michoacán is really amazing. They are finding rocks, artifacts made with jade, with gold. In Veracruz is like a river rock. We found gold in Veracruz with these artifacts. So this is just a little bit of what is happening in the last 7 years. Hopefully I can show you later, another time, if Steve invite me again, the other states and the other pieces, the other kind of pieces that he had found. Because it's really, really amazing what is happening in Mexico. This is the real ancient aliens. I know that when you see the pictures, when you see the videos, you say, no, it's not real. There's no way that this can be real. We have broadcasting the show in Mexico for 8 years. We participate every week in a TV show down there. As soon as we broadcast the first documentary, this TV company say, we need to do the second part. So we went to the temple and other places to do the second part. When the second part was ready, I asked to the person there, the manager, the CEO of this company, that we are ready with the second part. And he said, well, what is the second part? We don't have any material. I said, well, we went with you. We should. We have all the footage. I saw when you finish. Well, he said, well, we lose all the material. A year later, he took me off the air for the radio in Mexico City. And I asked why, you know, and I said, well, it's just changing in the company, and I'm sorry. And I know, I mean, this person, he's the director or manager they have a newspaper, TV station, radio station, a lot of things. And he managed all this media. So he's my friend. I know him. I know that there's no way that he can take me out of the company or to participate with them. Something is happening. I don't want to push anymore because I know that he is ashamed to take me out of the media. But something happened with him, or somebody told him to take this information out. When we air this in the TV in Mexico, the people just send me a lot of messages asking me, what is this? I mean, where is this came from? Where we didn't know about this? So the government doesn't want to do anything with these artifacts. They don't want to even get close to these artifacts. I just told them, well, just take a look and just tell me that all right, fake, and why. And they don't want to do anything. That's why we are losing all this information, because the people are buying these artifacts and taking to France, to Japan, here to the US, to Germany, to wherever I took this one in the airplane. And it's really, the information that is in there, you just see some of this information, because it has maybe where we came from, maybe the relation with this ancient civilization that came from the stars, and we have a relationship, and maybe it's a hybrid thing, and it will change everything. So I'm really glad to be here and share this, because I shared this with a few people. Not really a lot of people know this stuff. So I'm really glad that you came and see this presentation. Hopefully you can share this information to other people. I know that I'm the only one that I've been in all several places where this artifacts has been found. So I know that now that those are real. Maybe I can be grown later, but right now, what I think is this is the real thing. Because something happened 2 years ago. And hopefully I can share you that later.